Hi, my name is Debbie Bianchi, and I'm here today with my friend Sharon Thurston. We are volunteers at the Ancient Cemetery in Yarmouth Port. We thought it would be fun to show you what is in our bucket with a short demonstration of how we use them. This is what has worked for us after cleaning over 100 gravestones. Here is our stone for today's demonstration. The ABCs of cleaning a stone is always be careful, not only for yourself but also for the stone. I start out with checking the stability of the stone. Take both hands and get a good feel to see if it is wobbly or not. I then take a walk around the stone looking for dips in the surrounding area, ant hills, rodent holes, etc. I find that I get so involved with the cleaning process that I sometimes forget about these potential hip breakers. Next, I analyze the stone itself. When cleaning old marble stones, sugaring is quite common. I also check for cracks and other types of damage. Rub your hands over the stone to get a good feel to see if it leaves a sugary residue on your fingers. Repeat this process also once the stone is wet. If you see any kind of sparkling marble residue on your fingers, sugaring, you must make the decision not to use plastic scrapers. Also, you will want to determine what type of brush to use for gentle cleaning. This step is particularly important. Each stone has its own needs, so do not be that person that is so gung-ho to end up with a bright white stone that you literally erase 50 plus years off its life.
Because marble is very porous and has been sitting outside for decades in our New England acid rain environment, it ages and disintegrates at different rates and speeds, especially compared to other stone types. Be gentle. Once you have determined that the stone is sturdy and safe enough to be manually cleaned, I step back and take a before picture and say, "Cheese, you're about to get pretty again." Most marble will have this yellow lichen. Be sure to wear your gloves if you don't want orange fingers for the next few days.
Because we have determined that the stone is stable and is not so advanced with sugaring that it is safe to clean, we now will set up our tools. This photo shows pretty much all that we have in our bucket and milk crate. Believe it or not, it all fits. I use a garden stool and sometimes the milk crate to sit on, and the plastic beach mat that everything is sitting on. The mat is great to have for those down low to the ground positions. Plus you don't get as wet and the ants don't crawl all over you. An assortment of garden hand tools that I find I sometimes use. And don't forget to spray yourself with tick spray and sunscreen.
Let's get set up. I bring a 100-foot flexible hose with me, the kind that shrinks up and is really lightweight. I store it in a plastic grocery bag, so if it leaks some water after storage, it is not in my car. I use a plastic nozzle that not only has different kinds of spray adjustments, but also has a volume control slider, so that it can be either full volume or just a trickle.
If there is a water supply, you are blessed. I carry this 2-valve hose splitter attachment so that Sharon and I share the same water spigot. If there is no water supply, we use a 2-gallon pump sprayer and a couple of non-toxic plastic milk jugs of water. A pair of pliers always comes in handy to tighten or loosen these attachments and valves. Rubber garden gloves we talked about earlier, and a wide brim hat. Wearing a mask should be seriously considered, especially during the initial lichen removal process. Keep handy in your bucket eye wash and goggles that were provided to us by the town of Yarmouth. I bring a small bottle of dish liquid to use to wash up in case I'm headed out to the store after my cleaning session, a few flag markers to flag stones in danger. If need be, and a roll of paper towels come in handy. A few paper grocery bags and rake to haul away clippings. A couple of old towels. I use these mostly for keeping stones moist when I'm working in the sun or on granite or slate stones.
Totally not necessary, but a collapsible photography disc occasionally is used for hard-to-get detailed photos. Full-length mirrors work the best to read the inscriptions. I have a small bin that I use for my favorite scrapers, brushes, and wooden cuticle sticks. I fill this bucket up with water and keep it next to me as I clean. I use it to rinse my tools as I use them. Here is another picture of an assortment of plastic scrapers, nylon brushes, toothbrushes, and a baggie of toothpicks, cuticle sticks, and skewers, with a small sharpening knife inside to keep the tips pointy. Let's get cleaning. This year I started using a bungee cord on my marble stones. I like it a lot. I can turn the hose nozzle to shower and adjust the volume to low, and the bungee cord stabilizes the hose on the top without falling off. Again, it is all plastic. Once I see that the marble is becoming saturated with water, I start with a relatively soft brush. A scraper is seldom used here because I have wet it down significantly and the yellow and gray lichen easily comes off. At this point, the stone is getting a nice, gentle bath. Note here, Sharon is again lightly scrubbing the stone and giving it a shower. This step is probably the most satisfying part of the whole cleaning process. The grime, dirt, and pollution are literally rolling off.
Up to this point, we have only used water and a good amount of grime came off. Using our arsenal of brushes, we are almost done with the first step of cleaning. Now that we have removed all the lichen and most of the dirt, it is D2 time. We spray D2 one side at a time. Spray a little extra D2 on the carvings. Now we foam it up. We both find this brush creates the best foaming action for us. You will find a favorite brush that works for you. We often work the front and back on the stones together to share our girl time stories.
Now that our stone has had its first shower in over 150 years and then foamed up with D2, we leave it until our next visit. Here is an example of half before and half after first cleaning. Our last step is to bring the grass and turf away from the base of the stone. I have a favorite hand shovel, and Debbie uses her trusty butcher knife to carefully cut the grass away. Both methods work, but the point here is to allow the weed whacker to stay as far away from the stone as possible. In some cases, we create a trench so that the water runs off away from the base. Remember that small bucket of water that we had all through these steps? The now dirty water has lots of D2 in it, so we pour it over a nearby unclean stone so not to waste the D2. It does help to start the cleaning process. Don't forget to clean up your grass clumps and bring them home in the brown paper bags.
And that is what is in our bucket. Don't forget to wear your vest or t-shirt and let people passing through know that you are a legit cemetery volunteer. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some helpful tips. See you in the cemetery.